Dogecoin looks like it's finally breaking to the downside like I've been talking about in my last couple videos. Right now what I was looking at, or in my last video, let's say, we were looking at this support right here on this trend line on the 4-hour time frame. Let's actually go to the 4-hour time frame real quick. I have a bunch of lines on my chart, but I'll kind of explain everything right now. Okay, so we have support, support, giving me a trend line going to the upside like this. In my last video, I was talking about how we found support in this area right here. We were testing it and we broke below it, but we only wicked down and we were really testing it. But right after I made that video last night, or yesterday, I think it was last night, we got support and we got a bounce to the upside. I was also talking about how we had resistance giving me a trend line going to the downside. We came up right to that line and got rejected and started heading to the downside. We broke the trend line going down. This morning I was waiting for this candle to close. We got the closure. We started the next candle and it looks like it's starting to go down even further as I make the video. So I think the next thing, or some of the things that I'm looking at, I have a couple patterns that I'm looking at right now. Let's go to the 1-hour time frame and I'll show you one of them. Okay, so on the 1 hour we have support. This is one of the things that I was kind of looking at as confirmation. If we could break this one going to the downside, I'm going to get even more confident about my limit order down at .139, .142, and .145. I'll show you where I got those in a second. But for right now, we had support, resistance. Basically, in my opinion, it seems like a channel pattern. We have the top and we have the bottom. And basically, let's go back to the 1 hour, sorry. Okay, so basically we're in a channel pattern. We drag from the top to the bottom. Oops, sorry, I keep doing that. We drag from the top to the bottom of the channel pattern, something like that. Drag that to the breakout, and we're looking at a target of approximately .14721. And that, I think, is just to get started. The other thing that I was looking at, let's go ahead and delete that. And then, actually, you know what, let's bring those back. Let's leave that there. The other thing I'm looking at, let's go ahead and delete this and delete this. We'll kind of clean this up a little bit. We actually don't need this one anymore. We can use that in the future. I think we'll probably look at that later, because in general we do want to break this trend line. We have resistance, giving me a trend line going to the downside. If we could break this trend line going to the upside, let's say we kind of come down, get a bounce over here, do something like that. In general, once we break this will be a line that I'll be watching for us to break in the future. But right now, it was just, we were getting resistance in that channel. Like I was talking about, we had a channel pattern. We got resistance right here, and then it looks like we kind of fell over. So let's go ahead and delete this one. I want to take you to the 4-hour time frame and show you this other channel pattern that I'm looking at. Let's go ahead and delete this too. Let's go to the 4-hour. Okay, right now we're on the 4-hour time frame. We have resistance, support. We had support, but we broke it. We're basically in a channel, ascending channel, going to the upside. We got resistance, like I was saying, but basically we broke the channel going to the downside. We're not getting like a big red candles or anything, but we are getting big red candles here. So what I want to do is target from the top to the bottom of the channel, something like that, and then drag that to the breakout. And that, I'm looking at a target of approximately .14250, and that's where I'm getting this limit order from. This .139 level, I think, is just a psychological level, and then it also kind of lines up with the Fibonacci, the 61% Fibonacci. I think I might have moved this. I think that's why it's not perfect. Let me adjust the Fibonacci. We want to get from the top to the bottom, something like that. There it goes. That's why it's probably now it lines up better with. It's supposed to be below it. Anyways, it lines up with the 61% Fibonacci retracement level. That's why I'm watching that 39 cents. Although let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. We have support and support right here. Let me go ahead and highlight that. We have support, giving me another trend line going like this. We're looking at this one right here. We broke that. I'm kind of curious if we're going to get a bounce on this one, or if we break that one and we're actually able to hit this 39%. If we break this trend line, though, we like 39% might be just the beginning. We might even come down to, I mean, we could possibly go down to this level or this level if it does break this trend line. So I don't know. That's why I'm kind of looking at this .145 level right here. And so I'm looking at the Fibonacci, like I said, I'm looking at this .139 on the Fibonacci retracement, but this is the Fibonacci retracement on the big trend from 8 cents to around .22 cents. Let's go to the Binance chart. I've also been looking at another Fibonacci retracement, and this is basically from, where is it? No, this is the same one. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and delete everything. And I'm also looking at this chart right here, or this bottom to this top. We had this little run recently, and then we started to get resistance. I set up a Fibonacci retracement from the bottom of that little trend to the top of that trend. And the last chart I was watching, or the last chart we were just looking at, it was from the bottom of this trend to the top of this trend. And I'm looking at that 61% level at .139, which is the same one on this one. But what I was gonna say is this limit order right here. Let's see, where is it? This .145 level is a Fibonacci retracement level on this one right here. It's the 50% on this smaller. Hopefully I didn't lose you, but we have this smaller trend. We did the Fibonacci retracement on the smaller time frame as opposed to that bigger one that I've been looking at, and then we just broke the 38% level. You guys, if you watch my channel, you guys know I like watching the Fibonacci retracement levels. We just broke this one, so the next stop would be the 50% level at .145. The next stop after that is the 61% level, which coincidentally lines up with the big one over here. If we go back to that big, we're looking at the big one again, from 8 cents to 22 cents, as opposed to from 12 cents to 16 cents or 17 cents, around there. This 61% level, this 61% level, let's zoom out over here. The 61% level lines up with this 61% level at around .139. But I'm basically watching these two Fibonacci levels as we go down, because we're breaking this one now. I mean, it looks like we're really close. If we look at it on this chart, let's go ahead and look at it on this nice clean chart. If we're just looking at the Fibonacci levels, then yeah, I mean, we're testing this one. We could get a bounce right here. This could be support, but I don't know. Like I was showing you on the other things, I mean, we've been looking at this trend right here. We just broke that pretty decisively. It feels like we got a candle, closed it. Looks like we're getting a second red candle. We were having trouble pushing past this area, especially in here. It just felt like we were gonna fall over. I've just been looking at this for the last couple days and got kind of, I don't know, just seemed like there wasn't really a lot of support going to the upside. So broke that trend line, and now I'm looking at these Fibonacci retracement levels going to the downside. Gives me levels to watch. And then if we go back to the other chart, this red line is where I took profits and sold right here. From the red line to where we're at right now is around 3% already. The first target is around 6.3%, and then the next one would be around 7.9%, and the last one would be around 10.19%, somewhere around there, 10.1%, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, if it breaks that trend line going to the downside, though, we could be going further. I mean, but that would be me closing. I think this would be closing most of my shorts right here, is what those limit orders would be. So if we went further, then it'd be kind of stuck, or it'd be in I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know if we'll get a bounce right here, is basically what I'm saying. It's possible that it goes lower, but we'll see. I like playing off these Fibonacci retracement levels in general. I had a position right here, and we went up. I bought the 61%. We went up to the 50%, took that trade. Now I want to come back down and get this one, get my Doge back, and yeah, and then possibly some more on the way over here too. Though I think that these could also be. That's another thing that I was thinking though. If this trend line holds support, then I'm not very confident about this. This trend line makes me a little less confident about this .13 limit order. Let's just say that. I'm liking this .145 level because it's almost like if it comes down really fast, it could hit that real quick, or if it wicks down, I mean, it could wick all the way down there and then bounce to the upside, but let's see what happens. Let's go back to that other chart real quick. What was I going to say? Let's see. Let me go back over here. Yeah, I was going to say something about it bouncing to the downside, but let's go ahead and look at this trend line over here. That's what maybe I wanted to say. Oh, that's exactly what I was going to show you. Okay, I wanted to show you that we have support right here, support right here. I'm looking at that same trend line, but look at how this 145 level almost looks like it's a little more possible to hit, even if we get support on this trend line. That's kind of the point that I was trying to finish. But I think that kind of about. I mean, I guess we could look at the dollar. I mean the daily, and look at the moving average. Let's go ahead and delete everything again. Yeah, let's go ahead and delete everything just to focus on this 9 moving average right here. It looks like we're coming in and testing it right now. I think if we break this to the downside, that will make things a lot more possible. That we'll be able to hit this 139 level, or maybe even. I mean, this bottom down here is around 13 cents. We got bottoms. We went all the way to the bottom down here around 12 cents. I mean, it went a hair above 12 cents, I think. Maybe it hit 12 cents. Somewhere around there. That'd be 12 cents. This would be around 13 cents. And this one is around .139. That's what I'm kind of looking at. Okay, so back to the moving averages, though. If we have this 9 moving average right here, we've been going in and out of it, getting resistance from the weekly 9 moving average over here. We have the 9 moving average, the weekly moving average. This is around 17 cents. I think if we could break this, then we'll get a nice big move up. But as I like to say, if we're on top of the moving average, we can get support on it. If we're below it, we're getting rejected on it. We're getting resistance on it. And right now, that's basically what we're happening. We're coming in, getting resistance on it, keep getting resistance on it. So we have that trend line. We're going to have to basically go through it. Or, I mean, we could pop through it on like that. But what I'd like to see on the moving averages is the moving average come down and then us go sideways into it, as opposed to trying to hit it from below, if that makes sense. Maybe it's a little easier to break it going sideways. But yeah, I think if we could break this, once we break this 9 moving average on the weekly, I think we can, maybe it'll be a nice move to the upside. It's a bigger time frame, so it might take a while. But like I was saying, the daily 9 moving average is no joke either, though. I mean, when we bounce in between these levels, we could get some nice moves going either way. Even if we broke it right here and then boom, and then came down, and then this is where it really started to have like trouble. But we'll see if it kind of goes a clear way one direction or the other. I mean, like I said, it's testing it right now. I'm kind of looking at these targets going to the downside. We are testing that 9 moving average, though, I guess is the point, or that's what we're looking at. All right, so yeah, I think that about covers it. I would say I'm really focused on the 4-hour time frame right now. I mean, we could go into the 1 hour and the 5-minute time frame as well and just kind of see, but yeah, I don't know. I like the way the 4 hours kind of setting up, and the way it's kind of the way that this pattern's kind of set up right here. The hour didn't look bad either, though. I mean, we have this 4-hour channel pattern. We're breaking it to the downside. If we go to that 1 hour time frame too, we also had this channel pattern right here that was a nice signal. Let's go ahead and do something like this. We had the top and then we had the bottom right there, something like that. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Go something like this. Okay, we were resistance, support, broke that resistance going to the downside. we can at least target from the top to the bottom for right now. Drag that to the breakout, and we're looking at a target something like that. Let's see what happens in the meantime. The other thing that I'm watching is we have resistance, 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 giving me a downtrend like that. In the meantime, we could also watch this trend line going to the downside. If we break this trend line going to the downside, that could mean a potential reversal. Even if we maybe if we come down here, start bouncing, going sideways, and then we start breaking that trend line going sideways, maybe that's where we're going to get the bounce. Maybe that's where it's going to get support. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But and that could be a potential move as well. I mean, we could still be heading towards these levels, but we could get we could break this trend, boom, and then get a nice move to the upside, get rejected, and then move down again. I don't know. It just depends. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I'm kind of just watching this trend line. If it breaks to go into the upside, then that could be a potential change. But it looks like we're getting some nice targets going to the downside as well. We have this channel pattern, and then we also have this bigger channel pattern dragging from the top to the bottom of this, giving me a breakout, something like that, which gives me that target of around .14250. All right, I think that about covers it. All right, let me know what you guys think, though. If you guys liked the video, hit that thumbs up. If you want to watch the last video, click right here, and I'll see you in the next one.